Welcome to today's Explainer. We are diving into a topic of absolute critical importance today. And honestly, some of the data we dug up really surprised me. We're looking at 9 specific foods and everyday habits that could completely unknowingly harm an unborn child. Look, whether you're expecting yourself, planning to start a family, or just supporting a loved one, having the actual facts is absolutely essential. Missing this info can unfortunately lead to some truly tragic outcomes. But don't worry, we're gonna break it all down step by step so you leave this explainer fully informed and totally confident. So think about this for a second. Could your daily cup of tea, your absolute favorite spicy street food, or even that nightly skincare cream you use be secretly posing a risk? Now, pregnancy cravings are incredibly powerful, and it's totally normal to want these things. I mean, we all completely understand those intense, middle-of-the-night urges. But the stakes here, they're incredibly high. We're talking about preventing severe birth defects, dangerously low birth weights, and devastating miscarriages. By just identifying and tweaking a few little everyday routines, we can build a massive shield of protection around both the mother and the baby. So let's get right into it. Okay, Section 1, the danger zones, street food, and unsafe water. If you're someone who loves to snack on street food like fuchka, or you love sipping on a refreshing street juice, or honey, or lassi, well, it turns out the real danger isn't actually the food itself. It's the unpurified water they're often made with. You see, if the water isn't totally 100% pure, it becomes a literal breeding ground for severe waterborne diseases, things like typhoid, cholera, and hepatitis E. And for a pregnant mother and her baby, these illnesses are no joke. They cause severe diarrhea, vomiting, extreme abdominal pain, which then leads to rapid, dangerous dehydration. In the worst-case scenarios, this can actually trigger tragic miscarriages or even threaten the life of the mother. Bottom line, if you can't be absolutely certain that pure water was used, you've just got to avoid it. Now, hold on, don't panic. You absolutely do not have to starve yourself of your favorite flavors. We know giving up those fuchka cravings is basically impossible, right? The simple, brilliant solution here is just to make these exact same treats at home. When you prep them in your own kitchen, you're the one in control. You're using purified, safely boiled water. By literally just shifting where the food is made, you're turning a highly risky craving into a completely 100% safe delight. Moving right along to Section 2, the danger zones, hidden chemicals, and vitamins. Okay, so we all kind of assume vitamins are inherently healthy, right? I mean, I certainly did. But I was pretty amazed to learn from the data that consuming an excess of vitamin A during pregnancy can actually be disastrous. Overloading your system with this specific vitamin can lead to severe congenital disabilities. We're talking about babies being born with cleft palates, serious heart abnormalities, lung development issues, and even spinal defects that could leave a child with lifelong mobility challenges. It is absolutely crucial to monitor exactly where your vitamin A is coming from. So you might be wondering, where does this dangerous excess actually come from? Well, primarily it's animal liver. Liver from beef, mutton, duck, or chicken is just incredibly dense in vitamin A. As a general rule, you really want to avoid it during pregnancy. But hey, if you accidentally have a small bite, don't stress out. Staying within the scientifically safe limit, which is 50 to 70 grams of cooked liver per week, means there's no risk to the baby. Now, there is a really common cultural confusion here that we need to clear up. People think, well, if liver is dangerous because of vitamin A, then leafy greens and vegetables must be dangerous too, right? Actually, not at all. The type of vitamin A found in animal liver is biologically completely different from the type found in vegetables. Leafy greens and veggies are incredibly beneficial during pregnancy. You can literally eat them in abundance with absolutely zero stress. All right, now we really need to talk about the sneaky chemical hazards that are just hiding in plain sight. For example, acne medications. These often contain massive doses of vitamin A and actually need to be stopped at least a full month before even getting pregnant. Also, definitely do not take any unprescribed multivitamins from the pharmacy. On top of that, a lot of over-the-counter skin whitening, acne, and smoothing serums contain harmful chemicals. And let's not forget food chemicals, specifically trans fats. Foods made with dalda or banaspati ghee, think bakery biscuits, dry cakes, butter buns, chips, and deep-fried street snacks like singara, samosa, jalapeno, and puri, they're just loaded with trans fats. Recent studies actually suggest that consuming these during pregnancy significantly spikes the child's future risk of heart disease and obesity. Honestly, just skip them entirely, even after delivery. Now, this next finding, it completely challenges something many of us thought was just a settled fact. For years, the myth was that up to 200 milligrams of caffeine a day was perfectly fine. But modern research is painting a totally different picture. It turns out even small amounts of caffeine, the kind you find in tea, coffee, Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, energy drinks, have been linked to low birth weight, miscarriage, and stillbirth. That's exactly why top authorities like the UK Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists now strictly advise expecting mothers to avoid caffeine entirely. So if you've got a daily tea or coffee habit, it's definitely time to hit pause on it. And get this, caffeine actually hides in places you'd never expect, like right inside your medicine cabinet. A lot of people reach straight for Napa Extra when they have a fever or pain, completely unaware that the extra literally comes from added caffeine. Expectant mothers should always swap this out. Standard Napa or just basic paracetamol is completely safe for managing a fever or pain during pregnancy, and it does it without delivering that hidden risky caffeine spike to your baby. Okay, Section 3, the danger zones, cultural confusion. So is it really unsafe to eat papaya and pineapple during pregnancy? Look, if you grew up in a South Asian family, you have undoubtedly heard the intense warnings from aunties and grandmothers, who mean perfectly well, of course, telling you to avoid these two fruits at all costs. The cultural fears surrounding them is just widespread and incredibly strong. But what does the actual science say? Well, according to the data, eating fully ripe papaya and fully ripe pineapple is completely scientifically safe. There is literally zero scientific evidence that ripe versions of these fruits cause any harm during pregnancy. In fact, they're super nutritious. However, the fear isn't entirely made up out of thin air. Studies conducted on rats do suggest that unripe, raw, or green papaya could potentially cause issues. And while yes, human bodies obviously aren't rat bodies, just to be on the absolute safest side, it is highly recommended to avoid raw green papaya and green papaya curries during this time. But the fully ripe, sweet fruit, enjoy it completely guilt-free. Section 4, the danger zones, raw food risks. The primary villain we're dealing with here is a bacteria called Listeria. It's a highly dangerous bug that just thrives in unpasteurized, uncooked, or undercooked environments. We're talking raw fish, raw milk, and pink meats. If an expecting mother ingests Listeria, it can actually cross the placenta, leading to some truly dire consequences, like premature birth, miscarriage, or even stillbirth. So our absolute best weapon against it? Good old-fashioned heat. But the really great news here is that you don't have to starve yourself. You literally just have to make some smart swaps. Do you love eggs? Just trade those runny, half-boiled, or soft-poached yolks for fully cooked, hard-boiled eggs. Milk is fantastic for pregnancy. Just make sure you swap unpasteurized raw milk for pasteurized or safely boiled milk. Craving meats? Ditch the cold cuts, sausages, and salami for piping hot, fully cooked meats. And hey, if you love Japanese food, simply swap out that raw sushi and smoked salmon for some delicious vegetable sushi. It is all about making sure the food has been thoroughly heated to kill off any of those harmful bacteria. We also really have to watch out for the invisible raw ingredients in everyday foods. Things like homemade mayonnaise and fresh salad dressings often use raw eggs as a base. So just avoid them unless you are 100% certain no raw egg was used. Soft cheeses like brie, camembert, and blue cheese, they should be avoided unless they're cooked until they are literally steaming hot. Watch out for any meat with a pink tint or blood. It has to be cooked entirely through. And please be very careful with cured meats like chicken or beef pepperoni and salami. These are processed using a method called curing, not high-heat cooking, which means harmful germs can totally survive. Oh, and one quick, actually pretty fascinating exception here. If you live in the UK, eggs stamped with a British lion mark are virtually free of salmonella, which means you actually can safely eat them soft-boiled. And finally, Section 5, safe habits for healthy babies. All right, here is your final, ultimate checklist for success. First up, avoid all smoking and strictly steer clear of anyone else smoking around you. Secondhand smoke is just as toxic. Second, alcohol must be avoided entirely, no exceptions. Third, focus heavily on a nutrient-dense diet packed with vitamins and minerals so your growing baby never faces a deficit. And finally, for daily, accurate, and just incredibly detailed nutritional guidance, we highly recommend downloading the Soho Pregnancy app. It's already trusted by over 1.4 million families and offers phenomenal, carefully crafted guidelines made specifically for expecting mothers. So I want to leave you with this question. Which of these daily habits will you change today to protect your babies tomorrow? Because knowledge is only power if you actually apply it, right? Whether it's swapping out your afternoon tea, asking for your meat to be well done, or switching out your nightly skin cream, every single tiny adjustment you make is a massive shield of protection for your child. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to a safe, healthy, and incredible